Podcast. 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 Yeah, welcome to the Racer X Exhaust Podcast. We're going to cram one of these in right before Christmas because there's a new business venture, but it has a tint of old to it. There are very few of you who seem to be able to identify the background music for my awesome, incredible, amazing podcast theme song there. But if you do know where those trumpets and what that music was used for, you would know that it was often on a show that featured today's guest. Yes, Jeff Stanton was on that show a lot. It was in his prime years. And now we know Jeff Stanton as six-time for 3 AMA Supercross championships and 3 AMA 250 National Motocross championships, 6 AMA national titles in total. Now, look, 6 is not the most ever. Several riders have more. I mean, I shouldn't make it sound like several, like not a lot. But, you know, Villapoto is more, Dungey is more, RJ is 7, I think Wardy is 7. And then you got Carmichael with like 28. The point, though, is that we think of 6-time in a different realm than just numbers. Jeff Stanton has a sort of, this guy just does it right aura about him. And it goes well beyond just how many races that he won on the racetrack and how many titles. There are so many things that I can think about that Jeff Stanton did and said in his racing career when I was a kid watching those races and watching those interviews that I keep in mind today. Like, it really did help guide me in life, you know, because you're a kid and these guys are your role models and you're very impressionable and you see what Jeff Stanton did. I'm going to even give you an example here, which is going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but hear me out. What I always thought was awesome about Jeff Stanton is he was winning Supercross titles in races 89 through 92, essentially. He won one race in 93 in Supercross, and by 94, it was his last year, and he was done. And the awesome thing about Stanton is, from that time forward, he was at a lot of races. He went to every race for a long time as an advisor with Team Honda. Then he was a coach and trainer for Justin Barcia. We've seen 6-time at a lot of races. You do not ever hear 6-time brag about how good he was or what he did. His default answer always is, but I had my time, now it's their time. I had my time, now it's their time. And I really respected how he didn't need to remind people. He wasn't insecure in a way where he had to tell people what he's done and what he's done. And I'm not even comparing this to other motocross racers. I'm comparing this to other people. You all know somebody in your life who is always having to remind you of how smart they are, or how good they are, or what they've done, or how important they are, or who they know. And it is so annoying. So you can imagine, you multiply that 800 times for someone who is a celebrity or a star athlete or a champion, and they're 25 years out from that happening, and how tempting it would be for them to be that way. And the fact that Stanton has always maintained I don't need to prove anything to anyone. You can respect me if you want. I don't care. I've done what I needed to do. And he's always maintained that. I've always had huge respect for that, and I try to put that into my life as well. I am not as successful in life as Jeff Stanton is. You know, I hold these guys to the absolute highest standards. We all do. We're motocross and supercross fans, and the champions are our heroes. There's no doubt about it. But the staying humble, the not telling everybody what you've done or having to remind people of what you've done, those are great life lessons. And I've always thought about that for a long time, and I respect Stanton for it. And it's carried over to him having success off the track in the rest of his career. And that's what we're going to talk about today with 6-time. We'll get in a few war stories with Jeff Ward and the guys that he used to battle back in the day. But we've done that a million times. We've told all race stories with Jeff Stanton on this podcast, and Mathis has talked to him. Everybody has done that. We're going to talk about a new venture that he has off the racetrack that you can get involved in, riding adventure bikes through Michigan, jeffstantonadventures.com. And then I'm going to talk about how he was able to transition so well into life after racing, which is something that most riders of his stature struggle with. Why was he able to say, I did what I needed to do and I did it, and now I moved on and I'm good? Why was he able to do that? And there's a lot of lessons here. I can tell you behind the scenes that a lot of riders really struggle huge, and Stanton did not. And now Stanton has become a confidant and a bit of a therapist for so many riders in the industry, for so many things. And again, you don't know about this because Stanton has no need, no desire to let you know. I dragged it out of him that Ryan Dungey has called him for advice, but there are many other riders of a very high profile who use Stanton to lean on, and he doesn't go out there saying, hey, you know who called me? Hey, you know who needed my advice? Hey, you know who I helped? It's just a really excellent redeeming quality. I did what I needed to do, and now I'm done. And now it's everybody else's time, and I don't need to brag, and I don't need to name drop. Really cool. So we're going to talk to Stanton today. I do want to mention, of course, Yoshimura, our title sponsor here, the Exhaust Podcast. Got the RS12 exhaust system available for quite a few bikes. Now for the Kawasaki 450, the Kawasaki KX250, of course, the Honda CRF 450R, several versions. You get the Works edition of that bike, which has a Yosh exhaust. You can buy a Yosh exhaust for the regular bike. Big gains for both the Kaways and the Hondas. YZ250F. They have it for the Suzuki RMZ 250 and 450. And the last few weeks, I've also been reminding folks of the trail bike systems, like the RS9 that you can get for Honda's trail bikes. Also, the very popular Kawasaki KLX 110 have exhaust system for that. So check it out at yoshimura-rd.com. MX Tech suspension. I was hanging out at Club MX yesterday. See, I name drop. I do not take Jeff Stanton's advice well enough. I was hanging out with the Justin Brayton yesterday, but while I was there, I saw some privateer guys rocking the MX Tech suspension, like Freddie Noren, who's developing his Supercross program back to the privateer ranks. And I noticed MX Tech forks and shock on his bike when he was riding yesterday. Well, MX Tech suspension, as you have heard me say over and over, professional aftermarket suspension for riders who want excellent comfort and control, quality engineering based on a lifetime of specializing in dirt bike suspension. They've developed a Lucky fork, dual springs, dual cartridges, huck valves, and ultra lightweight. MX Tech utilizes the latest in technology and coatings to deliver maximum performance while remaining the lightest shock available. So head over to mx-tech.com for more information. And also head to jeffstantonadventures.com so you can learn a lot more about riding with six-time, or just listen to him talk about it. Here we go. You seem like you always have a lot of irons in the fire and a lot going on. So why did you want to do more?
My wedding business is established. It's great. I got two ladies that run that, so that's a no-brainer. That's handled.
Oh, okay.
The farm is good. My deer business is good, and so this has been a passion. It's been something that I've wanted to do for 5 or 6 years. But honestly, I just struggled with manufacturers to give me bikes. That was the big struggle.
Okay.
You know, for me to go out and buy 10 bikes and start a new business, to spend $200,000, start a new business, is it going to work? Is it not going to work? And so I got somebody that called me and wanted to back me on bikes, and they're ready to advance in Triumph. They're ready to showcase their adventure bikes. They want to sell more bikes in America, so they're hiring a couple of past champions to represent their company and showcase their brand and sell their brand.
So you've actually wanted to do this for a while. They didn't come up with this like this summer. This has been something in the back of your mind.
This has been a 5-year pipe dream, and I've been out to some manufacturers, and I just couldn't get them to back me on bikes, and kind of to have a factory ride. And I got a phone call from Triumph halfway through this year. They said, I understand you want to do an adventure business. We're all in. Whatever you want from us, we're 100% committed. And so,
wow,
here we go.
Well, looking at the website here, I mean, it says, Michigan has, how many miles of trail are we talking about here?
Oh, man, we've got thousands and thousands of miles of trail. National forest, the whole upper part of the lower Michigan, and then the UP is all national forest. It's just endless amounts of riding. I cut my teeth riding in the woods up north when I was a kid with my parents and my brothers. And we've got a place up there. We just love it up there. And so really my whole goal is to showcase Michigan, showcase Triumph motorcycles, and come and hang out with Jeff Stanton and ride for whatever you want, 3 days, 5 days. If you go to the website, if you don't want to ride for 3 days, I've hooked up with a fishing charter for Lake Michigan. There's guys out there that don't want to ride for 3 days, and there's guys out there that want to ride for 10 days.
Yeah.
So I want to showcase everybody. Okay, if that guy's 60 years old, he's a fan of Jeff Stanton, wants to come ride dual or adventure bikes, but he doesn't want to ride for 3 days. Well, I've got a menu there. If you want to go to Lake Michigan and go on a boat charter for one day and get into some coho and some salmon, hey, it's there. Let's do it.
Yeah. So you're on the menu though. Like you'll go fishing, you'll go mountain biking, you'll do any of the things.
Absolutely. We're going to do it all. So from mountain biking, kayaking, canoeing. So I just believe that there's diehards that want to ride 3 solid days, but also there's guys that want to bring their wives and take their wives on a fishing charter, or take their wives on a 5 or 6 hour canoe trip down the Pine River, the most beautiful river in Michigan. And so I'm hooked up with all these charters to customize your dream vacation, and let us do it.
So I see all these trails and all this, and then I see the picture of the Triumph. So tell me about these bikes. Sell me on that. Like you can do proper off-road riding, not, gnarly single track enduro stuff, but you can do some off-road on these bikes.
Absolutely. So we'll put DOT, knobs on them, and, it's just endless hundreds and hundreds of miles of fire roads and just 2-track roads, and we'll be able to ride some trail that's, a wider trail, not what I call a CC trail, a tight trail, depending on their ability. That'll be the key for me in the first 2 hours to figure out their ability and, what they're going to be able to handle, start off slow and work up from there. You know what I'm saying? So the bikes, I've had a couple of the bikes for the last 3 or 4 months. The bikes are so awesome. I love them. Just super, super comfortable and nice. You can change the engine modes right with your fingers and suspension modes, and just they're awesome. I love them. Never really rode an adventure bike till this year, and for that guy that's 50, 65 years old that raced motocross back in the day, when I raced moto as an amateur, that still wants to ride but doesn't want to go out on a moto track, this adventure riding's kind of really selling itself.
True.
We're all moto fans because we're Supercross, motocross guys, but that guy that's almost retired, semi-retired, and he wants to enjoy riding, adventure bikes are the way to go.
And you really mentioned something key. The wife can be part of this. First of all, you could ride 2-up on these things. I'm thinking, for example, right?
You can, but I'm not going to let people ride 2-up.
Not on these trails.
No. I don't need to take the risk, and I am going to offer smaller bikes for the ladies, street legal bikes for the ladies.
Oh, cool.
Ladies that want to come ride.
Yeah.
But that's the reason for doing the fishing charters, the canoeing, the mountain biking, the hiking, wine tasting. So I want wives. There's that age group that the wives don't want to be away from them. They do everything together, and I want to be able to capitalize on that. If your wife wants to come and she just wants to hang out at the lake house while we're riding, and then on the second day go do a fishing charter or go do a kayak, bring her. Let's do it. If she wants to ride, I'll have bikes for ladies to be able to do that as well. I don't want to leave anybody out.
There you go. So with the weather up there, how does this work? Like, when is this going? When can people do it?
So if you look through the website, I'm only doing it the month of May.
Really?
And August, September, October.
Okay.
I want to showcase the beauty of Michigan, the mountains, the colors, the fall colors. The lake in the fall is beautiful. So it's about showcasing what Michigan really has to offer. And obviously showcasing these bikes. I want people to come ride these bikes. I'll have a whole fleet of Triumph bikes, and obviously the goal is to have them love these bikes and get home and buy an adventure bike.
So this is a lot of work to really do something that's 3 months out of the year that you're going to basically do this. So that's passion project to me. That's not like I need to pump out enough people to make money on it. You want to do it when it's at its best only.
I want to do it. Listen, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
Do I want to go follow somebody down a dusty trail in June and July and eat dust for 3 or 5 days? Okay. Okay. A 20 or 30-year-old may want to do that, but the age category that I'm trying to get in, I'm going to I'll take anybody from a driver's license on up.
Yeah.
But I feel that my age category that I'm in right now, those are the kind of fans that I'm going to draw. And that 50 to 60-year-old man doesn't want to eat dust all day long. He wants to ride a little bit. He wants to sit around the campfire, cook T-bones, and lie to each other. Straight up. That's just the truth. Okay.
You do have a little practice with this. Like, I remember way back when we started having the Ricky Carmichael universities. I think Daytona was the first one. And it was supposed to be a riding school. And then Davey and Tim Cotter are saying, you know what it really just turned out to be like? We just want to hang out with Stanton and Bradshaw and RC and Emig and talk to these guys and hang out. So you have that part. Like, you're gonna tell some lies also?
And listen, I've been telling Ricky this forever.
Yeah.
And him and JH went and did some adventure riding last fall, and they loved it.
Yep.
And so they're getting hooked up with Triumph in this adventure deal too.
Uh-huh.
And because really, it's for us, it's really the future. I mean, adventure bikes are fun to ride, and that's that age category that wants to sit around and tell stories and hang out with Ricky and myself and Fro and those kind of guys. And so that's really my whole idea for doing this. So showcase what Michigan has to offer: the beauty, the trail systems, the riding. The lake, the lighthouse, the UP, Mackinac Island. I mean, it's just endless.
But what I want people to know is if they want to talk Chicken and Bradshaw and JMB and McGrath and RJ, if they want to talk moto stories, that's what you're there for. You're ready for them.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
Let's go ride. Oh, if you want to ride 30 miles that day, you want to ride 150 miles that day, I will do what you want to do. If you want to sit around and tell stories, hey, I'm okay with that too.
Yep. Bench racing. You do plenty of bench racing. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's more than just going out and hauling butt and riding. I was looking through some of the posts last night. Well, are you going to ride an XR75 so we can keep up? Listen, it's not about keeping up anymore. I'm 52. Yeah, I can go out there and haul the mail and ride with anybody. But I'm here to ride with you and make your adventure ride, your trip, the ultimate. So when you leave, you go back and tell all your buddies, dude, you got to do that.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
at this point, I'm a business person, and it's about having fun, making people happy, and spreading the word, because that's how it's going to expand.
Yes, it's not about showing off that you can still go fast at 52.
Dude, I've been done with that phase of my life a long time ago. Even the racing I do now, I do it because it's fun. I enjoy the vintage thing, and yeah, I can still go fast, but it's not what I want to do. I want to enjoy it, you know.
Okay, so let me shift this to a broader topic. That is something I've always wondered. Okay, so you retired pretty young. That was kind of a trend somewhat at that point, but most of the guys were forced out with injury. You chose to retire. You never came to Mammoth. You never flirted with Loretta's. You never raced a GNCC or a desert race. Like, you just turned it off. And you were going to the races for a long time, which to me would like make you fire up more. Was there ever a 1996, 97 time where you got an itch again? Because we never saw it. We never even heard a hint of it. How did you turn it off?
No, I never did. And I remember being on the floor on 95. Bob Hanna comes up to me like at the third Supercross track. He goes, well, do you miss it? Do you wish you were out there? And I'm like, no, not really. He goes, okay, well, you did the right thing then. It's so that's always stuck in my head.
Wow.
Like I was just telling you earlier, for years I did 50 plus races a year there with all that travel, all that training, and all that racing, and it was just it was enough. So no, I never really did have that itch, and it always sticks in my head. Cliff White was one of the all-time best mechanics, and he always said, "Don't ever come back. You've done it. You've showed everybody, what you've done in the past. There's all these guys that think they get the itch and they want to come back." He says, "Just do me a favor. Tell yourself never to come back and do it." And so that always stuck in my head too. But I've always kept active, training, riding. My son and I still ride a lot. So, I burned that itch.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't train and didn't ride and didn't keep active on bicycles and running and basketball, city rec leagues, that itch would probably still be there. But I've done other things and got rid of that itch and still enjoy it.
I feel like you've become somewhat of a mentor to a lot of guys. Have you had to have that conversation? Because it seems like most guys don't cope as well as you. They turn it off, they're burnt out, and then 18 months later, they don't know what to do. So have you had conversations with people like this?
I have had lots of conversations. and listen, it's a problem. It is a definite problem in our sport. Mm-hmm. And I've had some just recent guys call me and say, dude, what do I do? Mm. Because we start off when we're little kids on little bikes racing every weekend. We race every weekend, go. That's all our family does. and they know nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, I'll throw it out there. Ryan Dungey, first 2 years, he's like, dude, what do I do?
I was wondering, he should reach out to you, so he did. He did talk to you.
Yeah. Absolutely. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was the same way. I don't want to do anything in the moto industry, and so for me, I was a totally different scenario because we had the farm. I could always go to the farm and work and be a part of the farm. But for most guys, their parents just didn't own a business or didn't have a farm to fall back on, and all they know is moto. And when moto's gone, dude, there's a huge hole there to fill.
Yeah.
And for the guys down the chain, as far as Ryan Dungey, obviously multi-champion, he doesn't have to do anything. But for those guys that didn't make money and put money away, and they're done, and they have to go work and do something, that's a struggle. That's a slap in the face and a reality check. So I've had people say, dude, you need to write a book about that. But it's a definite problem in our sport. There's no guidance afterwards. If you weren't successful to make some money and put some money away and to be able to have the business mind to start, a couple of businesses like I have. So I have talked to people about that many a times.
With the stuff that you've done, these businesses, does that also help then? Does that take a little bit of the work ethic and what do I need to do to get up in the morning? What motivates me? Is that an outlet for that so you don't go back on the racetrack?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, to make things successful, absolutely. I've been fortunate to kind of get in a niche with a wedding barn, and that really sold itself just by word of mouth and doing a great job. And my whitetail deer business, that just takes work and being able to sell them, that's easy. But I'm at the farm every day helping out on the farm. They're farming 2,000 or 3,000 acres, and so life is busy. My wife's in the medical field, so she's gone 12 hours a day. My kids are gone now, so I got lots of time to be able to brainstorm and come up with these crazy ideas.
But that sounds like what you need to do. It's almost like, or it's not almost like, it is. It's like you have an addiction and you need to find a new channel. You can't just go from 60 miles an hour to zero. You have to find something else to do, and you've been able to do that. Yeah.
I've been able to do that, and now Ryan has been able to do that. He started off with the intense bicycle thing, and now the coffee thing. So little niches, as long as he's able to make some money at that and be successful at it, and not spend a lot of money, it'll work out good. And then Ricky, he had his some riding schools, and he had guys out at his place every day. He was able to funnel that, and then now doing the TV stuff, he's been able to funnel his energy in a couple of different directions as well.
When you were first done, like so end of '94 season, and you were super burnt at that point, did you actually have a brief time, even a few months or something, where you really did just completely unplug?
I did.
Okay.
And I talked to Ryan Dungey about this. It's been a year and a half ago. So after I was done, I'm like, I'm going to ride my bicycle every day. So I rode my bicycle every day, like 80, 100 miles a day. I'd ride, have lunch meet my wife for lunch, and ride my bicycle. And I did that for about 30 days. Mm-hmm. And one day I'm out, and it's a nice fall weather, and I'm 50 miles out, and it just clicked. What in the H am I doing? Why am I sitting on this bicycle riding 100 miles a day? This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. And so then it clicked. Okay, I got to do something here. I got to be more productive. And so that's always stuck in my head. Just like you're out, my ass hurts from sitting on this seat. So why? What am I doing this for?
That's good. You would cleanse this. You cleanse that all out of your system. You got it all out.
Yeah.
Hey, Davey, you said that your wife works in the medical field. Yeah, explain that. Davey said that you did your stuff, and then you gave her time to do her stuff. So explain the scheduling, how that worked.
Yeah, so my wife was a year behind me in high school, so I went racing. So we've been together since 8th grade in high school. We've been together forever.
Wow.
And so she was super athletic, got a scholarship to go to Illinois State. Went to Illinois State, played basketball, and got her PT degree there. She would travel when she could to the races on the weekends. She played basketball. She did her own thing. It all worked out good. We got married in '92. She did PT for quite a few years there. One day she comes home. She says, "I'm tired of PT. I'm ready to go back and be a PA, physician assistant. And I'm like, oh my gosh! At this point, we had kids,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, yeah, I'll support it. I got the kids, so she went back to school 365 days a year, 2 years straight, and got her physician assistant, and so she's been a PA for 14 years. So she loves it, orthopedic and family practice, and she loves it. She's great with people. People love her. So yeah, so she's 4 or 5 days a week, 12 hours a day. She has her gig. I have mine. We just it's awesome. We raised two beautiful, fabulous kids, and so kind of empty nesters now, and so life is good.
So you had 2 years where you were you had gone from again opening ceremonies like Bob Hannah's asking you about to you're just stay-at-home dad for 2 years.
Yeah. I was actually a stay-at-home dad for both my kids. My wife was like I said, a PT when my daughter was born, and she was with me 24/7 on the farm, riding baby joggers, bicycle carts. I did everything with them, and I wouldn't have changed it for anything. My kids, fortunately, are very successful, smart. Still in school, but my daughter's in her second year of vet school, and my son's finishing his senior year at MSU in crop and soil science and horticulture. So just that time with your kids when they're young and early part of their childhood was priceless, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Fortunately, they got my wife's brains. They have my work talent, work ability, but they have my wife's brains. So that's a good combination.
That's hilarious. I think you do need to write a book on this because you were able to turn it on and off when you needed to at the right times to make the next 30 years work. I've heard stories like you'll go down and visit guys. You've tried to pass this advice on as best as you can. Not even, I'm assuming, not even because they're paying you. You just want to help riders out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
You see so many guys that get lost, and once they get lost, they'll turn to drugs and alcohol, and so there's so many paths that they could take that would take them the wrong way. So, yeah, always out there to help for sure.
Okay, one other story that Davey said I got to ask you. Can you tell me about these gold coins that you used to get at the races that were really just a cool trophy, but it is real gold? Can you tell me about this?
Yeah, I still have a pile of gold coins in my desk. So I believe it was Main Events back when Coors Light was a main sponsor instead of Monster. It was Coors Light, and you could take the purse money in gold coins.
Okay.
You could either take a check or you could take gold medallion coins. They came in a little plastic vial, and I still have the plastic vial of gold coins that I took, and so it was awesome. So gold's never lost its value; it's gone up in value, and so Coors Light Gold. That was the sponsor, and they offered to get paid in gold medallions back in the day for your winning the Supercross, your purse money.
Right. So it looked cool to have gold coins, and it sounded cool. But were you even thinking of, this would be quite an investment? Because now that you've held on to these things for so long, they're probably worth a lot.
Oh, they're worth 10 times more than what they were. No, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, this is cool. They sent you the paperwork on them, and you were taxed on it. It's all good. So, that's just another thing that they did back in the day that was cool that it's not even heard of now.
No, but that worked out for you, like on the investment side. If you ever want to sell them, you could really make a nice cut.
For sure.
Oh man, well, it's good, and it's not like Ricky. You worked at Honda when he was there, so even a guy like Dunge, where you really don't have any connection as far as on the racetrack, guys are still recognizing like, hey, maybe I need to call. Is it like the Stanton hotline? I almost feel like. So even these modern guys sometimes, or maybe someone advises them to do it, but you're still in the game in some way.
Yeah, and that's cool to be able to talk to guys about more than just racing. When it comes right down to it, racing is a small picture in your life. I'm sure Ryan could tell you that now that he's got a child, and that one's growing up, and they'll probably be looking for another one.
Yep.
Racing is a small part of it when it really comes down to it. That life is much more precious and full once you're married and have kids, and the life after racing. So, and we get older and more mature, and if we can guide people in the right direction, that's really what it's all about.
Hey, did you learn this stuff from anyone else, or were you just right place, right time and figured it out on your own, or did you have some mentors in your 20s?
No, listen, Rick Johnson was a huge mentor for me. When I first got hired on at American Honda, I lived with Ricky one whole winter, and we trained and rode together. And I always looked up to him. And then he got hurt in that whole scenario. It was kind of a bad deal, and
Yep.
we kind of went apart. But I learned a lot from Ricky. He was very knowledgeable, super good work ethic, and so. I was fortunate to surround myself with a lot of great people. Vivo Forte, all the travel I did in Europe, he was basically my father over there. He traveled to every race with me, and he was a great mentor for me. Instead of traveling with a bunch of cronies and getting in trouble,
Yeah.
it was me and Vivo. The most trouble we could get into is finding an Italian restaurant somewhere. So I just surrounded myself with good people, and here I am, 52 years old. I never drank any alcohol my whole life, so I never got caught up in any of that stuff. Never got caught up in any drugs or any drinking, and so it's about surrounding yourself with good people, doing good things, and helping out others after life.
Yeah, that is cool. You're paying it forward, as they say. Let me ask you about your buddy Barsha here. He almost looks like he's on a Honda. It almost looks like he's on a Honda.
We talked for a long time last night. When you saw Instagram, I made the first post of the adventure. He calls. He's like, "Dude, what do you got going on?"
Nice.
And so we talked for a long time. He says he really likes it. He says he's been riding a ton, a little bit burnt out maybe at the moment, so he's going to take a week off for Christmas. But he says he's super happy with the gas and the whole Troy Lee team. He says he really likes the bike, so I'm happy for him. He's like a young one of my younger sons.
Yep.
We spent so much time together. I love him, and love him or hate him, I love him. He's just got a great personality, and we get along super great. So,
well, I think one of the things that's misunderstood about him is I know that he runs into people on the track, but the off the track stuff, I don't hear people say, "Oh, he's a jerk" or whatever word you want to use. Like on the track, yes, he roughs people up, but you don't really hear stories behind the scenes of like Barsha's not a good guy off the racetrack as a person.
No,
Yeah.
He's just the opposite. I mean, he's so fun to be around, and a jokester, and he's like a little kid. He's a kid in a candy store. 100% ADD, so bounces from one thing to the other. But it's just fun, and trying to contain that energy and focus and put it in the right direction. And so, yeah, super good family. I really love Justin and his wife and mom and dad. So I spent a ton of time with them. So super fun.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of things going, but you still have your connections, your touches, your hands in the, whatever you need to know or whatever you want to be involved in, you still got that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the other cool part about starting the adventure deal. Triumph came aboard. They're obviously the biggest supporter of what I'm doing, but also I've been in a long time relationship with the Rye Helmets, Vivo Forte, and now 100%. Troy Lee. So there's a long list of sponsors, Dunlop, that are coming aboard. That
cool.
I've been loyal with them, been a part of them for 30 plus years now, and so they're come aboard to be a part of this whole program as well.
I got to ask, I mean, at some point you probably had talked to Honda about this. This would have been a nice fit. Just wasn't able to come together. I'm sure that crossed your mind.
Yeah, no, it did not come together. I had tried to work with them honestly for quite a few years on it, and they just didn't see the benefit in it. The African twin came out. I'm like, what a better way to showcase your product.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, it didn't happen. I think they feel that they sell all their bikes, so they don't need to do anything like this. And when Triumph says, whatever it takes, we got your back, as many bikes as you want. It's like having a factory ride all over again.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be able to showcase their product and what they have to offer, show people, and be able to get them out and hopefully purchase Triumph's adventure bikes and to work with them in the future. They've got big plans to do great things in the United States, and so it's a fun project.
If you get back to a race, though, we might see you hanging out with the Honda guys here and there, though. Still cool?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I talked to Eric and all the guys. Yeah. No, they're all good. You know, the business is business. Life is life. It moves on, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Triumph doesn't have, obviously, the brand cachet that Honda does in the United States, at least. So you could see why they're going to be more aggressive and willing to try stuff. They got to. That's their position. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, they sell X amount of bikes last year. They want to double that, triple that, and so you see Ricky's an ambassador for them and riding their bikes and supporting them, and so I'm essentially doing the same, just in a different way by getting people out and riding their bikes and showcasing the product that they have. Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to go one more thing here. I'm going to go super fan guy on you, which I don't normally do, but I'm still mad. Okay, my dad worked for Bel Ray, right? So in 1989, they were a longtime sponsor of Kawasaki. They actually got Wardy to come to the office before the New Jersey Supercross. That's where I lived, and that's where Bel Ray was. So I got to meet Jeff Ward like 2 days before the Supercross. It was unbelievable. So in the main, I'm like, now I'm pulling for Wardy. Wardy pulls away. He's got a big lead, and his damn transmission blows up, and then you win the race. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm still a little mad about that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I know you're the kind of guy that can take a story like that and laugh.
And it got paid back. It paid back a couple of years. If you've seen the video, Wardy and I battling in Dallas, Texas.
Oh, unreal.
The epic battle. We passed each other like 4 or 5 times, and I wasn't going to give up. Last lap, I made the pass. I stuck it in with like 3/4 of a lap to go, and then I come out of 2 turns ago, I came out from underneath the tunnel and just launched the bike in the crowd basically, and Wardy wins and I get second. So that was payback.
That Dallas race is underrated. I mean, that's one of the best last lap duels ever. I mean, you can't get any better. You passed each other like 4 times.
No, dude, that is 100% the best race ever. Yeah, we passed each other back and forth. And so, yeah, that's for sure a classic.
Well, the reason I can bring this up is because I always feel like you were able to, and we've talked about it with Bradshaw a million times, but also with a guy like Wardy, you would have these battles, but I feel like there wasn't any blood feud between you and Wardy. There was respect either way.
Yeah, that's what was cool back in the day. You know, you're on the starting line back in the day, and there was 8 guys that could win, and really we could all go out there and race each other. It wasn't until Chicken came in and started roughing everybody up, and maybe my buddy Fro, that you really had to start looking over your shoulder to see who was there to know if they were going to take you out or not. But back when, RJ and Wardy and Johnny O and myself and Bradshaw, we could race. That was what was cool. We could race each other, and we knew that we didn't have to look over our shoulder because if it was going to be a clean pass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I mean, there were 3 or 4 years of the Nationals, 500 class, 250 class, where it's like, it's going to be either Stanton or Ward winning this title. But I never felt like that became like personal with you and Wardy.
No, not at all. No,
yep.
And even today we get along. I respect Wardy. We get along great, and obviously same with Damon. So yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, I'm still mad though. That would have been a nice win for Wardy, but that Dallas race. Yeah, people need to look that up on YouTube. I don't know how you launched. I mean, you launched your bike 20 feet straight in the air coming out of a berm. I don't even know how.
Absolutely, yeah. You recall it. It's a great race. Yeah, go back to YouTube, look at Dallas. And I can't even honestly tell you what year that was. So.
Oh, 89. Don't worry, I'm fanboy. It's Dallas 89, everybody. Look it up.
You got it. All right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
All right, man, this has been awesome. And really, it's the behind the scenes, what you're doing for these guys to help them try to manage like you're doing. I think that maybe not everybody realizes that. So kudos on that. Not just helping yourself, but others.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So, yeah, go to JeffStantonAdventures.com, book your 3-day or 5-day adventure, and we can sit around the campfire and chum it up and showcase Michigan, showcase Triumph motorcycles, and enjoy our time together.
Boom, and there it is, 6-time, and you can hang out with 6-time. And as I was getting at there, he knows what people are paying for now. It's not just to ride or to see scenery. You want to hang out with Jeff Stanton and tell old Jeff Ward stories or Jeff Potasevich stories or Bradshaw stories or JMB stories. He's there to do that, and Stanton is amazing. I don't know if there's a rider. In fact, it's hands down. He is the all-time different when he was racing to when he's retired guy. Villopoto, all right, maybe Villopoto's battling him for that. But even Villopoto, Villopoto still has that edge to him. He still has that edge of letting you know. He's still got that cockiness to him, which is hilarious. And he had a little bit of that when he was racing. It just wasn't as public back then. But Stanton used to have a butt patch on his pants that said Mr. Mean. That was his rep, and he owned it. He was proud of it. He admitted that he couldn't be a fun, cool, likable guy on race day when he was locked in and focused. And then the day that ended, he became a totally different dude. And then by about 10 years, he's talked to so many people and hung out with so many people that everybody has this, man, I cannot believe Jeff Stanton is like that. I did not think Jeff Stanton was that kind of a guy story. And now it's gone 20 years, almost 30 years now since he retired, believe it or not. So Stanton is a grade A person to hang out with. If you look at 1991 Jeff Stanton interviews, that's not the Jeff Stanton you'll be hanging out with on this trip. Really sounds fun. And I'll throw in the plug for Michigan because in 2019, my family, we went up to Redbud and then we hung out in Michigan for a little over a week. After that, the Great Lakes, really, really cool. So good opportunity there. Sounds fun for a lot of people. And thanks, Jeff, for the time. Thanks for Yoshimura for backing our show. Jeff Stanton used to ride for Factory Honda. Those are two-strokes back then. This would, shudder to think of what it would be like Jeff Stanton on a four-stroke for Honda. But I'm just saying that if we had a time machine, and this is the way it all worked, he would have Yoshimura exhaust systems on his bike because that's what Factory Honda runs now. That's what the Geico Honda team always ran. And that's what the new 250 team with the Lawrence brothers will be running, as well as Ken Roxon and Chase Sexton. Check out Yoshimura-RD.com. Not just Honda stuff, though. Got the Kawasaki 450 and 250 exhaust systems as well. A very popular Kawasaki KLX 110. You can't even buy these trail bikes right now, but it would be cool for Christmas maybe to get a fresh new exhaust system for it. So go to Yoshimura-RD.com. Check it out. Go to MX Tech Suspension. That's mx-tech.com. And check out the Lucky Fork, dual springs, dual cartridges, Huck valves, ultra lightweight. MX Tech utilizes the latest in technology and coatings to deliver maximum performance while remaining the lightest shock available. Like I said, I saw Freddie Norton running MX Tech on his bike just yesterday. So this is Supercross main event level guys running their stuff. So it's got to be good enough for you, right? That's our show. Of course, support us at RacerX. Support our editorial, journalistic endeavors. Subscribe. It's only $30 for the year, and you get the magazine both in the mail and digitally. Go to racerxonline.com/weege, W-E-E-G-E. I think we're still giving out calendars. I cannot guarantee now before Christmas we're going to get it to you by January 1st. But go there anyway because I want the credit. racerxonline.com/WEEGE. Spend $30 with us. Help keep the lights on so we can keep doing stuff like this that we do not charge you for. All right, that's our show. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. All that. I'm not going to say Happy New Year because I'll probably have a show between now and then. But Merry Christmas from everyone here at RacerX and myself, Jason Weigandt. Love all the support from everybody. It's an awesome, awesome group and of people in the motorcycling world. And I reflect on every year, and I do not take that for granted. We just have awesome people around, both you folks, our listeners, and our fans that I get to bench race with when I see at the races in the old days when we could actually interact. And then, of course, all the friends and in the industry. Motorcycling people are great people. I think that's kind of what Stanton is celebrating here with Jeff Stanton Adventures. So get on board. All right, folks. Merry Christmas.